ready to drive.
It's a little loud.
It's a little loud, it's a little loud. So how many times has this headstock been used before me?
Millions, but it gets washed every time.
Oh, good. Thanks, buddy.
There you go. Bend your knees and slide on down.
Okay. Don't kick the back of the seat.
You can kick him, tell him go faster, right?
Oh, God, here we go. Oh, shoot. Pretty great. Let's do it again. Well, we were talking beforehand. What is the physicality that it takes to be a race car driver? Because you're sitting. So for a lot of people that might be watching, they're not thinking it takes, but you're a fit guy. A lot of the racers that we see are. What kind of physicality does it take to actually do a race?
We create so many G-forces in the corner that your body is subjected to a tremendous amount of force, and that's just going through one corner of one lap. And here we've got 11 corners, we're going to do 90 laps. So you're working very hard. We don't have power steering. So you're wrestling this car around a road, especially the bumpy street circuits like here in Toronto. Every bump you hit, the wheel's trying to rip out of your hands. You've got to keep it in control. And again, you're doing that while it's, 26, 7, 8 degrees with, it's Toronto in July, 80% humidity.
I know.
So your heart rate's up, you're losing a lot of water weight, you got to stay hydrated. Your cardio has to be that of like a marathon runner because we're going for almost 2 straight hours.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a very, very physical sport.
What is it like for you to be back home, to be competing here in the city?
For me, it's the coolest opportunity. I'm so fortunate that, not only do I get a race in my home country, which a lot of the guys on the circuit don't. If you're not American or Canadian, we don't even go to your country. We literally go to my backyard. My soon-to-be wife and I have a place 5-minute walk from here, and I grew up 20 minutes down the road, and I came to this race all the time as a kid. It's really what made me fall in love with IndyCar racing and want to do this for a living. So to get to come back here every year and to get to now be on the other side of the fence putting on the show for other people, it's just incredible.
Take me back to when you were a kid on those bleachers. What do you remember about those moments?
I just remember being floored at the speed of the cars, the sound of the cars. I used to watch them hurtle around the corner and think, there's a person in that controlling that. Like, it just blew my mind as a kid,
Right.
and getting to get so close to the cars, so close to the drivers, that's one of the things that IndyCar really prides itself on, is the access that they give the fans. And it had a huge effect on me as a kid. It made a lifelong fan out of me, just knowing I could stand this close to an IndyCar as it's rolling to the grid, and chasing Mario Andretti trying to get an autograph. So it was, I got so many memories from this place as a kid.
Now, the other thing that we obviously know watching is how dangerous it can be as well. I know you've had a bad crash. What fuels you up? What keeps you going behind the wheel despite the danger?
I think all of us, I make the joke that racing drivers are just wired wrong. We're missing that self-preservation gene that most people have.
I think you're wired right, probably.
Right for a very specific thing.
Right.
But no, we all understand there are obviously dangers to our sport. There are risks that we take, and we take them willingly. It's a combination of the thrill you get driving one of the fastest cars on earth at the absolute limit, combined with the adrenaline you get from competition.
And I know that Indy has done a lot of work to make the cockpit safer. What do you think the future of safety in racing is going to look like?
IndyCar really has been at the forefront of a lot of the safety innovations that we now see across motorsports globally, and that's not slowing down. In fact, we announced in May that we are introducing a windscreen to the cars for 2020. It's going to be kind of like the halo concept that Formula One's adopted, plus a windscreen to stop smaller debris getting through. So it's really the first solution that's fully protected a driver's head, which is kind of our most vulnerable part in the current condition.
Does that take away from the sport and the ability to get around the track faster?
No, it really shouldn't have much effect on the performance of the car at all. There are going to be certain differences, obviously. Now, we'll have to deal with things like buffeting. There's going to be some venting issues that we've got to get through. But those are all relatively small problems that we have to solve when it comes to the fact the big problem that we're really solving is driver safety.
This sport is dominated so much by Americans, Europeans. How does it feel to be a Canadian and kind of representing this sport for a whole country? How's that feel?
Yeah, I put a tremendous amount of pressure on myself to do well for Canada. I'm a very proud Canadian.
You're the Raptors of racing.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. The Jays, the Raptors, we're the only one, and it's a huge honor, obviously, to be able to represent my country like that, and the support that I felt from back home has just been incredible since day one. But because of that support, I want to give them something to cheer for. Canadians really get behind their athletes, and we love performing and really giving them a reason to cheer and support. And we've had a good run here in town the last couple seasons, but
Yes.
man, a win here in Toronto would just be, I mean, next to winning the Indy 500, it'd be like right there.
Well, and it's been a while since there's been a win from a Canadian. 2003, Paul Tracy, last time a Canadian's won this. You know, are you seeing momentum? Are you feeling that building?
The last street course that we went to, which is the most comparable to Toronto, was in Detroit. We were running for the lead. We were essentially leading the race when we got taken out. So we were running up front there. We've had good cars here the last few years. You look at those things, combine them all,
Right.
There's good possibility this could be a good weekend for us. But the NTT IndyCar Series is so competitive. I mean, week in and week out, if you miss it by just a tiny little bit, you're going to be way off because it's just so competitive. So we're going to keep doing everything that we do. We're going to hope that it's a strong weekend for us. And, you know, there's every reason to believe we can be fighting for the front.
Great. Well, good luck. You've got a whole country cheering you on.
Thank you so much.
And I can't wait to see how you do this weekend.
Appreciate it.